Hey, hi everybody. Claude Diamond here with Phil Finote of Sparta, New Jersey, where I actually I went to high school there, man, and that's how we kind of hooked up. You made a lot of money the other day, didn't you?
I did. I actually made $14,000 in a matter of 24 hours.
Smile, smile.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
so much. That is so much. Do you remember those crummy high school jobs and college jobs we had, where they paid
right.
nothing? And how many hours did to $14,000? That's a lot of money.
You
How
know
much?
what? It
How
took
many
me.
hours?
Well, thanks to you, Claude. I saved me a lot of time with the gut sales method. I pre-qualified the person the right way, the way I was supposed to, so I wasn't wasting time.
One phone
I got
call.
right down the business pretty quick.
Boom.
It was one phone call, and once we were pre-qualified, I agreed to meet at a Mineral Springs, which is in Mountain Creek, a nice little area there.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
agreed to
Ski areas.
meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little nice ski area. There's a nice little bar out there, and it's like a spa area. It's a nice place. And we
Okay.
met over there, and but I already knew that I was getting the contract signed, right? I didn't go there to make a presentation. I didn't go there to show, this guy that I'm all that I'm a real estate investor, that I can buy his house today. I went there to get a contract signed, period.
And you
That's
knew
the
that.
only reason.
And the golden rule is never go to a meeting or a house or never go anywhere unless you're going to pick up a contract or a check.
That's absolutely right. And
Absolutely.
before I met you, I was doing all that. I was presenting. I
I
was
did it too.
right.
I did
I
it
was
too.
wasting so much time, Claude. And now I'm just I'm it's great.
And part of that millionaire mindset is not wasting time.
Right.
Is working smart. What's the difference between a millionaire and a guy who's always broke all the time? Everybody has 24 hours. How come some people use their time better? I think they have a higher self-esteem or confidence, or they just work smarter. Uh,
Sales, asking questions.
Asking
Asking the right
questions up front,
questions.
begging them, please fire me, Mr. Prospect. I don't want to
Right.
waste a minute of your, I just want to help you solve a problem and I want to make an honest living. Can we do business today or not? You know, I
Right.
go right to it. Maybe it's the New Yorker in me, or sorry, the New
I
Jersey boy in me.
That's it. Yeah, that's
You
it.
know, we just
That's
get right down to it. In California, where I live, it's a let's have lunch. Is their big thing? No, I don't want lunch, man. A, I want to stay thin, and B, I want to make money, and I don't want to waste 3 hours in traffic.
Right. And right now it's 11:30 in the morning. I just had breakfast with my family, with my kids, and now I'm laying, since they're really loud, so I'm in my bedroom. So now I'm laying in. I'm not at work. I mean, what are we doing here, Claude?
Yeah, I'm at my home here in the mountains in Colorado. There's a down thing. You have kids, I have kids, and they think, gee, dads are home all the time, And my dad God bless him, he's not here anymore. That man got up while it was dark, and he'd come home when it was dark, 6, 7 days a week. I mean,
Right.
he just worked his tail off, and so I could have the opportunities to live a lot better, a lot more enjoyable, luxurious life, really.
Yep.
How many hours did you put in that deal for that 14,000?
About 3.5 hours.
Aren't you ashamed? What is that?
I know.
Well, what is that? That's almost $5,000 an hour of work.
Yeah, I
Crazy,
know. That's
man.
crazy. Definitely wasn't worth my time to drive to Mountain Creek.
Now, you do one thing that if you could just talk for a minute about the type of deal you did, and you do some very unique gut style marketing, which I really love. Could you
I
share that
do.
with people watching?
Yeah, sure. I can share a little bit of it. I have no problem with that. So I like to do. There's a couple of ways to do things, especially around here. If you're in a place where you have a lot of houses, I mean, if you're in the middle of the country, I don't recommend this. But if you're in a place where there's a ton of houses around, like here in New Jersey, I highly recommend driving for dollars, because when you're downloading these lists and you're getting these lists from List Source and you're mailing these people, whether you're handwriting or you're sending it through a mail house, it doesn't mean it's going to go to that vacant house. These lists are never spot on. So when you're driving around and you see tall grass, a falling gutter, a broken window, take a picture of that house, write down the address, and mail them. Or you can use an app called Deal Machine, like I do. My deals come from there. My deals also come from handwritten letters, personally
Whoa.
handwritten.
Okay, now you're hitting my nervous system.
Right.
Handwritten letters. I like unique marketing. I like things that stand out. Most of us don't get handwritten letters anymore. And I think when someone gets something like that, whoa, this must be important. So, it's unusual. It's
Right.
It's not a label. It's not one of these pre-stamped labels that is usually junk mail or something like that.
Right. Right. And I have terrible handwriting, and the conversion rate on that is phenomenal. I mean,
What do
it's
you mean?
unbelievable.
What do you mean phenomenal? What's phenomenal?
If I send out 20, I get 3 or 4 calls back. You
Wow.
will never get that with a postcard, ever. Not like, it doesn't happen. If you send out 1,000 postcards through a mail house and spend $2,000 or whatever, spend a ridiculous amount of money, you might get one deal out of that.
Sure.
I could send out 100 handwritten letters in a week, in less than a week, right? Handwritten,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get a deal from that.
Yeah. And that's well worth your time.
Right.
And that's unique marketing. That's smart marketing.
Right.
Absolutely. And you're doing what else? And what else do you do? And the deal you just did, how did you make that 14K? Was it a lease purchase and an arbitrage assignment? What did you do?
That was an assignment of contract, so that was a wholesale. So I basically locked the property down under contract, and for $96,000. And I called a buyer in the area that I've known for a very long time. I've been working with this guy forever. And I gave him a call. I said, hey, I think I got a property here that you might be interested in. And he came down the same day, came down, and we came to an agreement on 110, and he bought it same day.
Boom. And that was your $14,000 upfront outside of escrow or within escrow?
That's within escrow. So
within escrow. So you're going to get a nice check.
Yes.
And everything. So a lot of people are thinking right now, how did he find? Okay, you know how to find the properties. You're like me. You're a blind old bloodhound, and you can still sniff out a bone somewhere.
Right. Before I met Claude, I've never had a problem finding properties. I am amazing at finding off-market deals. I know how I am spot on with it. However, I couldn't convert them. That was my biggest problem.
The conversion and the closure is where most people have the biggest problem, where they spend the least amount of time. They're always worried about other things,
right?
Spending too much time on all the other stuff instead of getting on that phone right now. How did you find this buyer, for instance?
This buyer I've just known through friends of friends. I've known him he's from Sparta. He's got a couple of rental properties here in Sparta. Okay. I've known the guy for forever. He's actually a friend of mine. And he's always been bugging me like, hey, if you get anything in Lake Mohawk, I want it. So this house was in Lake Mohawk. So I locked it up, and I called him, and he bought it right away.
What if you found a property in Florida? You were sniffing around because we're sitting at home with good Wi-Fi and a good computer.
Oh, that's so easy.
Deals anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. If you find a property in Florida, if you find a property in North Carolina, I don't care where in the country you are. With social media, with Facebook now, I mean, there's about 1 million investor pages on Facebook alone where you can post a deal if you have that deal there.
And to me, price or terms. You either get a good price, you sell it to another investor. If you get great terms, sell it to somebody who wants to live in the house and get cash and a note or a passive income or whatever. How would you find that investor for the Florida property, for instance? Say you got a great deal in East Bumble, Florida.
Right. So the first thing I would do is I would go, depending on where in Florida, let's just say you want to say Tampa. Let's just say Tampa. I would go on Facebook. I would type in on the search Tampa real estate investors, and hit search. You're probably going to see about 6 or 7 pages that come up for that search. I would join every single group, and I would post it in every single group. You will have buyers galore blowing up your post.
Boom. And you got to deal with, say, this $60,000, $70,000 profit.
But I highly recommend, like I kind of reversed engineered this deal, right? Because I marketed hard to Lake Mohawk because I knew this buyer wanted Lake Mohawk.
Sure.
So it's kind of nice to build. I recommend building a relationship with a buyer first, or a few buyers. Exactly. A few buyers, and find out exactly what they want and where they want it. And then market to those places. The marketing part is easy. It's just a couple of strategies that you can learn. But find where they want to buy, market hard to those areas, and then you got a buyer. You don't have to worry about getting rid of the deal.
How about the consistency? Now you got one good deal. You're rich today. Okay. How about we've all gone through that feast and famine thing. And everything. And my big thing is consistency. I want to do a lot of deals and make a lot of money in between deals.
Claude, we talked about this the other day, and I think I said to you in a message, I said, now I got to stay consistent. And, I thought about it later that day when I was laying in bed before bed. I said, well, I just got to keep doing what works.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
And keep it fun.
and keep it fun. I know it works. I just got to keep doing it.
What's the best hobby in the world? Making money.
Making money. So
isn't that the fun thing? You're getting on the phone, solving people's problems, the seller, the investor, whatever. You make money in the middle, and you go out and get some good New Jersey pizza.
Right. That's it.
All the time. My thing is in my business to make money every day through notes, through consulting, through deals, through educational products and services. I believe in multiple streams of income, so I don't have the feast and famine.
Right.
And that's where I like to get guys like you, guys who know how to hustle and have this great smarts, and you find different ways to make consistent income. Do notes, for instance, or do consulting, on top of that.
And that's what I was just going to say here. If anybody here also wants some help with marketing or colored letters, and it's just to learn exactly the strategies that I'm using now to get these off-market deals that buyers want, I have no problem with helping anybody out with that.
That's great. You want to give your email or something like that?
Yeah, you guys can email me, or you can, you know what? I can post a link in the chat here, can't I?
I'll put it, post it. It'll be on YouTube. Just post it in there.
Okay.
And that's great. Thank you for sharing this story with everybody. I didn't mean to invade your privacy, but I love real stories from real guys who know how to hustle. They're not boo effing who guys. They go out there, they pick up the phone, they hustle, they take their responsibilities for their family seriously, and they make great money. There's, what job in the world is going to give you $14,000, $15,000 for 3 hours work?
Sales all day.
It's always sales. It's
sales,
persuasion, influence, whatever you want to call it.
Sales.
And getting on that phone, finding these deals, I hate to say this but turning chicken shit into chicken salad all day long.
Right. Right. And I have one more piece of value here, Claude, that I want to share with your audience. And because I think a lot of people get stuck on this, and I also have gotten stuck on this. And this is kind of like a part of a GUTS method that I kind of learned, and it's a pretty cool strategy. And a lot of sellers will never give you the first number. When you ask what you want for a property, what would you like to get for your property? A lot of them, they don't want to say it. They're like, I know that the first person that says the numbers loses the negotiation, right? So that's usually what they say. So I kind of like to get off that subject when they say no. I say, I can appreciate that, Mr. Seller, and I'll start to get into something else and ask a couple other questions about the property, just getting off topic, just to get them talking.
Sure.
And once I have a little bit, yes, trust, exactly. Once I get a little bit more trust built, I'll ask, hey, Mr. Seller, what do you owe on this property? What do you owe? I need, this is kind of information I need to know. What do you owe? And if you get an objection, they might say, I'm not comfortable telling you that. You could say, listen, Mr. Seller, I can appreciate that, but that's all on public record, and I can look it up in my office. Can you save us both some time here? And can you just tell me what you owe on the property so I don't have to look it up when I get to my office? 9 out of 10 times, they're going to tell you what they owe.
Sometimes what I do is I'll say, is your mortgage, you paid how much for your house, sir? So you have a small mortgage, kind of a middle mortgage on the price you paid, or is it real large here with the seconds and thirds? Round numbers, sir, if you could just help me out.
Yes.
Okay, boom. You make it macro to get to micro.
Yes.
And then eventually they break down. Oh, it's $100,000. The house is worth $220,000, and boom. Now you know approximately their payments, their PITI, and you can decide. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, do you want a price or terms? I can give you cash, but I need a better price to move quickly, and that's what I'm paying for. That's what you're getting, speed. Or I can give you a higher price, but you got to give me terms: a rent to own, a lease purchase, a subject to, an owner finance. Something like that. Can we do business today, or would you rather just take your time and wait for someone to give it full price? I'm very direct, very honest. Yes.
And that's what I was getting at too next is as soon as you know what they owe, not like I said, 9 out of 10 times they will tell you when you even if you get that objection, and then, you start talking again, you start asking more questions, building that trust. And then you say, Mr. Seller, you told me that you owe X on the property. What would you like to walk away with
today,
in your pocket today?
I always use
that. They'll give you that number too, and then you know what they want. It's genius.
But I try not to mention price, but sometimes you can't go back and forth more than one round, one repetition. because
Absolutely.
it gets a little abrasive and obnoxious. Well, what's your best price? I don't know. What's your best offer? That's silly. That's two kids in a schoolyard there.
Exactly.
You got to get away from that. You want to get to listen. Let's be two adults here. The house is worth 225. You owe 100. How about we split the equity? I can get you a contract today. I can close escrow in 15 to 20 days. You get your cash. You're done. You don't have to pay closing costs. You don't have to pay real estate commission or anything. And you're done. Wouldn't you like this off your back today? And I try to create these emotional strings within them. These emotional feelings. Or if they want a better price, then I'll go to my lease purchase or subject to offers on it. But I need something, price or terms with them. And I want to find out in one phone call.
Right.
And if I can't get one phone call, then I'll say thank you. I'll do a video follow-up. Follow-up's big. And then I'll send them, then I'll put them in my follow-up system and I'll call them up in 30 days. Oh, hey, Phil, you must have sold that house by now, right, buddy? Do you remember me, Claude? We had this great conversation about a month ago.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't. I didn't sell the house. I had an offer on it, and the guy backed out. The house needs.
Isn't that irritating? Doesn't that drive? Didn't you have that money spent in your head there? Because I know
did.
You and your family want to move. You bought another house. You don't want 2 mortgages. You want to take the family to Disneyland. Isn't that horrible? That disappointment and setback.
It's a shame. It really is.
This is guts. This is what we talk about all the time. So I just want to thank you for your sharing your story. You did another deal before this, didn't you?
I did. Before. I actually still have 2 deals on their contract. However, they're getting through. Get through probate. I guess they haven't been probated, so they have to go through this entire probate.
Probate always takes time.
It always takes time. But that deal was I got it under contract for $45,000, and I sold it for $76,000. But I don't know if it's going to go through. It's still in the unknown, but we'll see what happens. I have these juggle balls on my desk. I am always juggling a couple. I can't juggle right now. I'm always juggling a couple deals at the same time because I know 1 or 2 are on hold, 1 or 2 are going to fall apart. They're going to fall apart.
1 or 2. This week we had a deal, a total surprise deal. I thought this was dead, buried, and gone. It resurrected itself like a phoenix, and we got a lot of money from this one deal, which was totally unexpected. So,
how long was it in escrow for?
It wasn't even an escrow; it was in negotiation.
Oh, wow.
And then the guy went on the witness protection program. And wouldn't respond to phone calls and everything like that. Then out of nowhere, he said that all of a sudden, without any communication, we got a check wired to us. I mean, it's like –
that's great.
It's like, whoa, where'd this come from? I didn't even know we were still in the deal here. And sometimes it's just you got to have a lot of irons in the fire. Yeah. If you're waiting on one deal, I get a lot of people, they got this one deal, the Hopa deal.
Yes.
And that deal never happens.
Never happens.
You've got multiple deals, multiple streams of income, so you have consistency. You don't want that famine because it's no good.
I'd rather have no deals than one deal on a maybe.
Exactly.
It's less stressful.
Yeah. When I mentor people like you, I like to see you not only do your own deals, but create contracts with passive monthly or weekly income, whatever you negotiate. Maybe do consulting. So you're making money in between deals. You can make thousands of dollars a month just consulting on deals with no geographic limitations. These are things, especially if you're learned in guts, because sometimes you don't want to touch a deal. They don't make sense, or they don't want you in the deal, but they still want your knowledge. You ever notice how they try to pick your brain?
Yes, absolutely. I get that all the time.
You can make a fortune.
Yes, I get the most questions I get is like from a lot of my friends in the real estate space. They are constantly asking me how I'm getting my hands on these off-market leads. It's the biggest question I get. How are you generating the X amount of leads every single month on a consistent basis? I get that question all the time.
You do it with your mailers, driving for dollars, using Deal Machine.
I get out and work. I hustle. It's simple. I
hustle. We all got to find what works for us. It's like dieting. You got to find the diet that works for you. I use social media. I put out videos and live interviews, a podcast, anything that draws attention to me. I get phone calls, texts. I get a lot of people, buyers, sellers, investors. I am busy, but I got to qualify them real fast because I can't do free consulting all day.
Right.
on it.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so having a bit, you're doing so great, man. Thank you so much for sharing your
You're
story.
welcome. Thank
I
you.
love success stories. I hate crybabies. I love successful entrepreneurs, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You take care.
Hey, I'm good for Saturday at 3.
I'll see you then.
I should be home.
Take care.
All right. See you later, Claude.